Listen up, people. It appears that advocate BBO is now dispelling the idea that she was brought into the industry to take the position of a particular female rapper. We're going to talk about it, and I'll tell you why I believe she is now big tricking. We'll also talk about the whole thing with her celebrating the fight with Jatavia. And now I'm asking myself, what's going on? It's crazy how desperate she is to celebrate, even though you know she's being dragged. Clarissa Shields and, of course, Papoose will also be discussed. People had a lot to say about her out there on their one-year anniversary. In the meantime, Remy is essentially informing Clarissa Shields that she doesn't want to battle by dropping a diss track. We'll be talking about her preference to be puped. Greetings and welcome. I hope all is good and that you are doing fantastically. For my part, I'm doing fantastically. Let's start with discussing BBL. We all know now that when she initially used, could tell that energy was being fueled somewhere. When she first entered the industry and began picking fights with Nicki Minaj, in fact, Kanye West and other artists, including celebrities, have publicly stated that the Transformers' success at the start of her career was fueled by her desire to challenge Nicki Minaj. Even the Atlantic execs themselves acknowledged that, They claimed that as soon as they laid eyes on her, they knew she would be the one to oppose Nicki Minaj. People didn't just pull this out of their ass just now. All right, interviews are used to document it. These people have acknowledged that. So when we saw her, I said, well, this is the person that's going to go against Nicki Minaj. Therefore, it is completely crazy to act as though you were brought into the industry because you are so talented and passionate about rap. To begin with, how can she even claim to be passionate about rap? When she first came out, she said, I don't care about hip-hop. All she wants is to make money. She wants to go #1, so they had writers on standby to assist her in writing her debut album. Oh, I'm real, all of that. I was simply saying, it's not that. We are not foolish. You recanted your statement that you were only interested in making money. And the executives acknowledged that. As I mentioned, their first idea upon seeing you was that they were going to put you up against Nicki Minaj, which is how you ended up where you are now. Thus, to return in 2025 and give the impression that you simply didn't get along with Nicki Minaj for no apparent reason at all. I think it's crazy that you were led to believe that you would become the next Nicki Minaj, but it has nothing to do with it. And since we look so foolish, that actually insults our intelligence. The issue with drafted folks is that they frequently genuinely believe that their level of thinking is the same as everyone else's. They, therefore, believe that everyone's minds function in the same way as theirs. In 2025, she went on an interview here and essentially stated that, well, we just don't get along with Nicki with a certain female rapper she cannot say. Nick's name, you know this, we just don't get along, I wasn't brought into it. If their mind is limited, they are supposed to believe me if I say this because they think that we will believe that booze, okay? Which isn't the case, okay? Change is fate? No, oh no. Did you literally take that woman's photo to the doctor because of fate as well? Is that fate? Did you get caught stalking that woman because of fate? Is that fate? Did you toss a shoe at the woman because she posted a phony tweet? Or was it fate? Is that fate? Because you don't understand. Is it fate that made you feel a certain way about motorsport? Well, no. Destiny isn't like that. Since you genuinely believe that Nicki Minaj had done you no harm, you were actively searching for methods to undermine her. You were instructed that you had to oppose her. Don't disparage our intelligence, please. We are aware of the origins of your career. Regardless of how many times you attempt to claim, I write my raps. I love hip-hop. I love rap. We all know this from you. You stated it yourself. This is the aspect about this female that irritates me. As if she had said it herself. Stand on business, at least. In 2025, why don't you just stand there and yell that, my God, only numbers count? In any case, I'll include her thoughts on the matter as a whole. However, allow me to explain why I believe she is now going back. With the release of this album, I believe she has come to the realization that, well, her attempt to replace Nicki Minaj was unsuccessful. As you can imagine, the attempt to eliminate Nicki Minaj failed, and her worth was based on her capacity to oppose her. There was value in that. Support was gathered for her because, well, everyone who doesn't like Nicki Minaj assumed she would be the one to do it. She is aware that those people's support will not materialize now that it isn't functioning. She wants to pretend that's not the reason today. No, you didn't accomplish your goal. Admitting your failure is acceptable. In this way, she will avoid seeming like the girl who failed to unseat Nicki Minaj while receiving all the accolades. So it's acceptable. Media channels on a plate, album statistics on a platter. Everyone was cheering her on. They were all focused on her side. They truly went out of their way to ensure she had access to all the resources she desired. She failed despite that, though. She is attempting to play mental games to give the impression that she isn't upset with Nicki Minaj, rather than simply acknowledging that, well, I failed. Proceed. Goodbye. I'll catch you guys later. But before, let me insert what he said anyhow. People have made up this big story about how I entered the field to take over someone's career or influence their thinking. But it's not like I ever considered that. All I wanted was to be well known for what I enjoy. That is all. People simply don't get along with one another sometimes. And if they don't get along, it's no more. Oh, but I believe that the reason they don't get along is that someone in the higher hierarchy wants to create, destroy, and so on. No, this is what I was meant to be. This is what I was meant to be, regardless of who signed me. I felt certain to become well known in a rapper because this is what I invested my spent time and made personal investments. For example, I was investing my money prior to being signed. Nothing more than the fact that people didn't get along with one another is at issue. Well, you guys heard that there? You heard that there? After this, we will move on to the next topic we will discuss. Let's discuss everything that happened yesterday with her and Jatavia. Now, as everyone knows, she has a male sidekick named Ken Barbi. Additionally, he has no problem conversing about ladies or approaching them. He came for JT multiple times, after all. He continued even after JT begged him not to post her. All right, let me just set the scene for what I will be discussing next. Guess who chose to intervene yesterday during the fight between her and Jatavia? Raymonte is the person in question. You guys are aware of how awesome Raymonte and Jatavia are. I suppose he also made the decision to speak on Jatavia's behalf. The supporters of Advocate BBL weren't amenable to it either. They weren't here for it. You're always in women's business, they were saying, criticizing him. All right? Someone then asked, where's the disc back? All right? Then, naturally, Jatavia shared a brief excerpt of Advocate BBL asserting that, indeed, this was her writing the reply to Jatavia. Raymonte then chuckled and asked, did she really say that? I'm obviously replying to Jatavia. One of the fan sites then stated, you continue to wear women's business brass. It irritates me. Essentially instructing Ramon to get his hands off women's affairs because, well, they say he's a man. In the meantime, a man owns their entire public relations team, their entire fan page, and the top fan page they have. And while that man has no problem shaming other women on Advocate BBL's behalf, it gets problematic when other men defend women who are also being dragged. This is what I mean when I talk about hypocrisy. Really, it doesn't make sense. But you know what? Raymonte had some phrases for them. He said, it's cool when Ken Barbi does it because he's ugly. Rayoni and Jatavia's popularity made sense to me because it's evident that they are genuinely on the same wavelength. As in, wow, whoa, simply amazing. In other words, because they are unattractive. Those people are not held responsible for anything. That's absurd. Please share your thoughts on that with me in the comments area. Advocate BBO appears to be celebrating the fact that she finally had some drama surrounding her album. Despite all that transpired yesterday, she uses gimmicks, lashing out, and other tactics to sell her music. Ice Spice paid her fee. So I suppose Trekking Week was coming to an end without her getting into a fight with another celebrity. JT had paid her dust, Due to the fact that it was late, Baya paid her dust and nobody really responded to anything she did say, since none of the females are afraid to release music. They seemed to have the energy when everything was happening. However, In order for her to release an album with something intriguing on it, she had to keep that minor beef intact. In any case, what was Bea planning to say when she finally made the decision to reply to her? Because in her district, everything Bea said came to pass. She also threatened to sue when Bea came for her. Paprika Spice followed Bea's advice, saying, "Listen, not going to be helping create the drama for your album. Do it by yourself." JT had accomplished it well, but today she lost the plot, essentially. That being said, here is what she had to say following the whole altercation. "To me, this actually sounds like a party, which is strange. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why the album is called Am I the Drama?" she explained. Good night to all of you. All right, I can assure you that she likely felt really pleased with herself for the confrontation with JT, since she had been looking for it ever before the album was released. But no one was prepared to deliver it to her. Thus, she must have been thrilled that the record at least had some significance. She's had a disagreement with someone. She gave Joe Budden a try. She attempted it with everyone else after Joe paid her dust. Either Roc Nation finally urged JT to defy her in order to generate some publicity, or JT finally fell for the bait, I suppose. She made a valiant effort to stir up controversy around this record, but nothing stuck. In the beginning, she believed that the divorce would cause the internet to explode, allowing her to release the album. However, nobody was interested in her divorce from the start. She then proceeded to discuss the Hustafon Diggs connection. People talked about it, of course, but they were making fun of her. That probably wasn't how she thought people would react to it. Therefore, it wasn't helping her album either. She even, placed a fake tummy on top of a genuine belly during her full pregnancy reveal. She really tried to make some kind of drama, but nothing stuck at all, in my opinion. And I suppose she came to the realization that the only way she can attract attention is by arguing with someone. So that made her very happy. Rug gods for that to Jatavia. And I suppose they can now brazenly inflate the numbers and claim that, well, the day we argued with Jatavia, that bumped up my sales because her lack of drama surrounding that was going to make it difficult to convince people that the album actually made enough noise to say we sold 200 or something like that. Simply put, it would not make sense. However, she is excited, and I find this to be both pitiful and desperate. After this, we will move on to the next topic we will discuss. Let's discuss Papoose and Clarissa Shields. Clarissa has fallen in love. This girl is in love. For example, oh my, it won't work out if this man isn't in love, so I really hope he is. They were out there wishing each other a happy first anniversary and all of these things. Or this with a married man, so it will definitely not end well. No, don't misunderstand. Because of the 4 things that Remia did to start the H train. I don't like her as a person. Nevertheless, Pappas remains married. What is this, Clarissa? What? Girl, what's going on? However, it appears that Remy Ma is out there discussing her desire to avoid a conflict with Clarissa when they are enjoying their anniversary. I suppose Remy will always be a loser at that age, ma'am, because she would prefer to pew-pew her with a gleezy. Even bringing up the fact that she was arrested for attempting to pew-pew someone. And considering that her son is dealing with a predicament that is also connected to the gizziness, do you choose to come on here and boast about pleasing someone? What are you saying? To be honest, that doesn't make any sense. It's pitiful. It's embarrassing. Mature up. In any case, please share your thoughts about that with me in the comments area. I also realized that I had received a message from someone. I'm not sure how I'd forgotten to bring it up. It's Carlos King, I guess. In essence, he is pleading with Nicki Minaj for an interview, adding that he would be delighted to have a conversation with her on his birthday. Please share your thoughts on that with me in the comment area. Do you believe that he is the best candidate to receive that interview? I want it all now, myself. I can imagine him and Nicki Minaj getting along well. He might ask some reasonable questions, I suppose. And sure, I would really love to see this for this new era. Please share your thoughts in the comment area. Do you believe Carlos is deserving of this interview? The bars, however, are thrilled that TL is going crazy. People are insane. Additionally, it appears that this announcement has not pleased card admirers. Nicki Minaj is being criticized for labeling her a beta and other things only because she revealed the album. Keep in mind that this album date has been making the rounds. They're upset with Nicki for releasing an album, and I'm just wondering why. In any case, please share your thoughts in the comment box. Are your coins prepared for the new era, you guys? As a fan base, what do you guys believe we should do? Naturally, in terms of the rollouts marketing, the last time we had Gig City, that is, what do you anticipate being revealed? That was a moment after all. I'm not sure whether we'll ever be able to experience something similar to Gig City. That was crazy. It was a memorable moment, legendary. And I'm eager to see what this new eater has to offer. I said, oh my God, Nora. However, I want to thank all of you for watching and for reaching this point. What are you waiting for if you haven't already? In order to receive notifications whenever I publish something, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And I'll see you until my next one.